It's the most pure form of freedom that you're ever going to experience. It does something inside you spiritually that allows you to understand that, every moment we have in this life is beautiful.
I just like a good view.
I always want to fly like a bird.
To feel like a bird.
Oh, I just love it. It's like a drag.
I started when I was about 9 years old. I lived on the coast of Texas, and I had my mom buy me windsurfers. I tried to take the sails and make hang gliders out of them. I was too dumb to be nervous.
I think the first time I flew was something that I built was 11 years old, and I was into building stuff. I survived my first fly because I wouldn't call it a fly, it was more like a crash. Bamboo and plastic.
I'll always remember the very first time that the wing lifted me off the ground. When I backed up a gentle slope, got a little higher up the slope, so when I ran, the wing caught air and the straps on the harness pulled tight, and all of a sudden my feet were no longer in contact with the ground. And from the clumsy, jarring feeling of running to just being suspended under a wing, slipping through the air, like the one word that I remember was smooth. This was the smoothest thing I'd ever done.
Two primary different ways to get a hang glider in the air. One is foot launch, and that's how hang gliding started. It's where you're going to launch yourself off of a high point and hopefully fly away safely and get up high and go somewhere. In my opinion, it's the more organic, more natural, more peaceful way to do it. It's my preferred method. The other way is arrow towing, and arrow towing is when, say, here at Lookout, the conditions weren't perfect on the mountain to launch, yet you knew once you got in the air there was thermals and there could be good potential for some maybe long distance flights or sustained flight. So what you're doing is taking basically an ultralight airplane, it's called a light sport aircraft, and you are pulling it behind a tug plane.
You get pulled out by an airplane like this one here, which was designed specifically for this. And it's the only one that's been designed specifically for this. Most airplanes you see around, people try to go as fast as they can. With arrow towing, we're trying to go as slow as we can, so we can pull a hang glider that flies pretty slow. This one has served us very well. It's a workhorse. That's what you see here.
They pull you up to altitude. The typical altitude is 2,000 feet. You release the release mechanism, and then you go search for lifting air so you can get up high and go somewhere.
I think everybody enjoys driving along and pulling off at an overlook and seeing as far as they can see. But on a hang glider, it's 360 degrees all the time, and you can't beat it.
It's pretty neat to get up thousands of feet above the mountain and see the world and everything getting smaller, and it starts looking more round, you know. And you're on something that you can carry around on your shoulders and you can do it safely. Yeah.
You know there's an element of risk in hang gliding, so that is in the back of your brain.
You know, the risks in hang gliding are definable, they're finite, and they're easy to manage.
A lot of times people just get too complacent. You're talking about the anxiety or the fear or whatever for launching and going off the mountain. I kind of figure it's a red flag if you don't have a little bit of that.
I know I'm going to hook into my hang glider before I launch, which used to be the single most dangerous part of hang gliding. People would forget to hook in.
I have almost 100 hours in the air on hang gliders and 430 flights roughly, and I've not hurt my glider or myself.
I've never had a broken fingernail. 11 years. You know, never hit a tree. And you're not going to hit a tree if you don't fly near the trees.
I had one crash. I hit some downwind sink and I clipped my right wing on a tree. I didn't break anything, I just had a concussion and a lot of abdominal bruising. And I flew again 3 weeks later. You crash a car, you're not going to quit driving.
It's just a spectacular thing to be out in space, hanging under a kite, thousands of feet in the sky, with no engine, no sounds, fly around for hours, wingtip to wingtip with hawks and buzzards and whatnot. It's just incredible.
Some of the spirituality or feelings that you get from hang gliding, we don't really talk about it, but when you meet a hang glider pilot, you know that's what they're in it for. You know, we all share the same sensation, feelings towards other people, animals, everything else, and just part of this incredible earth that we're involved in. And that's what it means to me. That's why I quit my job and I teach hang gliding.
It's an opportunity to kind of reassess your limits and address your fears.
Every time I launch, no matter if it's a 5-minute flight or a 3-hour flight, every time I land and it makes me question pretty much everything I think I already know.
It helps you understand that this world we live in and the society that, buy a new car, be in debt, have a house, all those things to keep up with the Joneses just really isn't that important because it's not living.